What is up, guys? Rickakus here, and this is a guide to the Elementalist, a multiplayer character in Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, when I unlocked this guy, I certainly did not expect the sheer power level of this character. I was totally surprised, especially considering I only had like a blue level 10 staff. Now I'm sure that's better than what some of you have, but I can guarantee you there is so much better staffs you can have in this game. So I wasn't really expecting the power level of this guy to be that good, because all of your skills are percentages of your weapon damage, and my weapon wasn't that good. But I was again so surprised by just how powerful this character is. Now, what I do when I'm leveling this guy up, first thing I do is upgrade to Immolate with the Wildfire edition. This is going to drastically increase this skill's power level, and I think with the Wildfire, the math is that it does 1600% weapon damage. Now, for how fast this skill recharges and how much mana it costs, that's absolutely insane. Now, some of this damage is damage over time, so you aren't going to be able to insta-kill stuff, but I find that I can immolate something and usually walk away and it will just die on its own. It's a very, very powerful skill, and I use it constantly. It's definitely my most used skill because of its recharge. The next thing I'm going to want to do is go straight for Barrier. Barrier is so important. Now, with the addition of Barrier, just by going down to get Barrier, you're also going to get the Guardian Shield, so that when you are about to die, you'll just get a Barrier. And the Barrier skill, in addition with the Guardian Shield, is going to make the Demon boss fight go from the worst thing ever to actually not that bad. Your character with Barrier skill, the survivability is massively increased. I cannot recommend this enough. Not only of you, but you can usually get your teammates in it as well. And sometimes I just ignore giving myself a barrier and will give the melee teammates a barrier instead. Like, it helps you out. You want all the enemies kind of in a cluster so you can use all of your area of effect skills. Like you'll see I use Wall of Fire and Immolate and Firestorm. And giving a barrier to, let's say, a Templar that's out in the fray, all the enemies are going to stick around, usually the Templar, because a lot of the melee characters have certain skills that increase the chances that enemies engage them, like enemies lock on to them instead of you. So by keeping them alive, all the enemies are just going to cluster around them, and then you're just raining down all your skills. And it really helps you by giving barrier and keeping your melee teammates alive, because then they draw all of the aggro of the adds, and you can just rain down all your skills upon them. Now, again, I already mentioned I do go for Firestorm. I absolutely love this skill. Now, the other skill to the left technically does more damage, but the fact that Firestorm knocks down enemies is so unbelievably useful. Like those asshole assassin characters that'll just come and insta-kill your character, they are completely neutered when you knock them down. It's so useful to knock enemies down, and that is basically 99% of the reason why I run Firestorm. It would not be a good skill without the knockdown factor, but because it's knocking all the enemies down as well, it's giving you and your other teammates a chance to absolutely go ham on them while they are knocked down. Now, I do use Firewall simply because I love the damage output of it. I love how many enemies you can damage with it. It's very good for area control on the boss fights, like in the 5 out of 5 level when you're fighting so many different enemies. It's absolutely fantastic to put it on a hallway and just watch everyone walk through and get hella damage. Like, the amount of damage output is just so high, and it really does help control certain areas. However, I can also see, and you'll see some gameplay where I run Stone Fist upgraded instead. I can see people like having a fair argument for Stone Fist. It is very quick recharging, quicker than Firewall, and it's more kind of just direct damage right at the enemy, and it's a different element. You'll notice that I'm running all fire skills here, and now that can somewhat get into a problem if you have enemies that are resistant to fire. For example, the Venatori boss, that mage boss, is actually immune to fire damage. However, like, yes, it's kind of a problem that they're going to be immune to your attacks, but you can just kill everyone else. And you have 3 other teammates that should be able to kill the main boss that's fire immune, where you are slaughtering all the other enemies with your Firewall because they are not immune to fire. Now, for passives, basically the most important, you must pick this passive, Death Siphon. The fact that you can kill an enemy, any enemy dies near you, it actually doesn't need to be you killing it. You or your teammates kill an enemy, and you then heal for 10% of your health, and like just 10% of your health, it would be a must-run skill. but also you get 20 mana back too. It is absolutely essential to run Death Siphon. I cannot, like, it's such an overpowered skill. You have to run this skill for sure. Now on top of that, Gathering Storm is also a very good one I like to run. Basically any skill that has the abilities that they give you mana in some way, or they help with your recharge times. Like, your damage output, 99.9% of your damage output with this class is just doing skills. Some of the melee characters, you have very powerful, melee weapons that can get away with meleeing a guy a few times without using a skill on him. You're really not going to be using your staff too much. You're really going to want to be using your skills as much as possible. So you need mana to do that, and you need them to recharge as quickly as possible. So a couple of tips with this guy. Again, barrier yourself and your teammates as much as possible. Try to get multiple teammates and yourself in with the same barrier. You're going to have enough mana. Like, if you choose the right passives, the Elementalist has so many passives that get him so much mana that you're going to find that your problem with skills is them recharging, not that you don't have enough mana. You're almost always going to have enough mana to cast whatever you want. Again, the problem is going to be recharging. So you're going to be able to cast barrier a lot. You can play the role of a keeper just kind of on the side while still doing massive damage with your attacking skills. So I just really love this character. The damage output is amazing. Again, I can play the role of a semi-keeper and really increase my whole team's survivability and my own with the barrier skill, and I just cannot get over how fun this character to play. Raining meteor showers down on a bunch of enemies, watching them all fall down and burn and try to run away, but they're knocked down and burning. It's just a great feeling. This character is very powerful. I would recommend you guys check him out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe for more Dragon Age Inquisition content, and as always, have a good day.